Hello, YouTube. It is I, Motivated Opinion. I've been like pretty out of the loop recently. Same old excuses, your busyness, blah blah blah. And nothing has really interested me politically or on YouTube for quite a while. Like, I've been pretty bored by it all. I haven't been watching anybody's videos. I haven't really wanted to make a video about anything. But recently, this fucking Bernie Bros thing has been riling me up. It's a real pain in the balls, man. Fucking Hillary Clinton supporters are really annoying. No offense to you, Hillary Clinton supporters. I do not say that to you because I'm a misogynistic, white cis, bad, heteronormative guy. It's just, this Bernie Bro smear is really irritating. And I've been called a Bernie Bro because I had the goal to say I didn't really trust Hillary Clinton, which I don't. Why should I trust Hillary Clinton considering she only supported gay marriage a few years ago, and she changes her positions often, and she supported like terrible bills like the crime bill in the 90s, and she referred to black people as super predators, and she wants to get involved more in overseas entanglements. I'm going to talk a lot about the substance of the policies, etc. Why would I trust her? And how does that make me a fucking Bernie Bro? I wanted to address it because I thought about these kind of like pejoratives and labels that people put onto things. One of them is regressive. When somebody calls me a regressive, I'm just like, oh, you're fucking lazy. You can't be bothered making a fucking argument, so you just call me names. And they're like, no, it's based on real things. It's based on you being like this, that, and that. And I'm like, well, I'm not like that, so fuck you. Go jump off a bridge, you piece of shit. And now when somebody pulls out Bernie Bro, it's getting to the point where it's just like a bunch of noise. It's like, fuck it, I get it. You want Hillary to win, you hate Bernie, you hate Bernie's supporters. You have antagonism towards them, and you just hate Bernie. Fine, but don't call me fucking names based on that. Make an argument. You know, whenever you ask Hillary Clinton supporters what's so great about Hillary, they're like, she's really qualified. Okay, fine. She is... I'm actually struggling. She's better on guns. I literally am struggling. But it's like, fine, alright, we get it. You fucking love Hillary. Good, you know? That doesn't make us all sexist. You know, there are actually sexist attacks on Hillary. Take a look at this.
The reason she's a candidate for president, the reason she may be a front runner, is her husband messed around.
So when you look at the calculation that goes into everything that Hillary Clinton does, for her to argue that she was not aware of what she was communicating by her dress is like Barry Bonds saying he thought he was rubbing down with flaxseed oil.
Men won't vote for Hillary Clinton because she reminds them of their nagging wives.
When Barack Obama speaks, men hear, take off for the future. And when Hillary Clinton speaks, men hear, take out the garbage.
Those are actual sexist attacks on Hillary. Now, people who call her a cunt and people say, I don't know, she's a piece of shit and garbage and blah, 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 blah. Yes, they are sexist people and they're a piece of shit, but I don't really think that they're representing Bernie. So, like, Bernie Bros is a fucking smear, you know? Just like people who think that Islamic terrorism is fine and dandy and a progressive don't really exist. I mean, they might not criticize Islam enough, but does that mean that they think it's alright or that they tacitly support it? No, because they've got something else in their mind, that they want to, like, protect Muslims. A lot of these people are like, well, I just don't like Hillary. Ah, you sexist scumbag, Bernie Bro! There's a difference between that and saying, Hillary's a cunt and she smells because of her vagina or whatever. I don't fucking think that at all. So it's really irritating that these people are so fucking lazy intellectually that they just spout out Bernie Bro and they can't even like fucking name things about Hillary Clinton that are good. I've tried to have a conversation about what's good about Hillary Clinton and I just get the same criticisms of Bernie and some, like I said, she's qualified and she's got experience and with, I don't know. She's being supported by lots of people in the Democratic establishment, whoop-de-doo. Although I will say in her defense, she's better than any Republican. Which doesn't sound great, but it's better than her not being as good as any Republican. So Bernie Bros is another fucking smear. The people who you would call Bernie Bros, I would just call sexist males. That are stupid. And I don't care if they support Bernie, they're stupid sexists. It's got nothing to do with Bernie. Now, Trump, he says shit like this.
Mr. Trump, I mean, for you to say that if she were not a woman, she would be getting 5%, suggests the only thing she has going for her is that she's a woman.
I think the only thing she's got going is the fact that she's a woman.
But I don't really care. I mean, it's a fact. She's playing the woman card. It's the only thing she's got going. That's it.
What about...
And she's playing it as much as she can. I mean, I've been watching it. I mean, all she does, every time she raises, if you raise your voice.
What about this sexism thing? I don't really know what this is. Anytime I say or criticize a woman, I'm accused of being a sexist. But anytime I criticize the African-American community in any way, or then I'm a racist. If I criticize illegal immigrants, then I'm anti-poor and anti-Hispanic.
Now that's a guy that Trump bros would make sense for, because he loves it. He's into the sexism. He's telling his followers, yeah, let's make sexist attacks against this woman. Bernie has never said that to any of his followers, and the people who would be called Bernie bros are missing the point, but it's become an attack mantra for Hillary supporters. And I also think if you have such disdain and disgust for Bernie and his followers, don't expect their support. Why the fuck should they support you? You might just have to live with 4 to 8 years of Trump, and then the next fucking cycle you're gonna come back begging for their votes again, and they're gonna be like, fuck you, and then you're gonna be like, you don't have the best interests of the country at heart, how dare you? Fall in line! We have to stop the Republicans. We don't have to think about our policies being as progressive and good as they can be. We just have to stop the Republicans. That's the only thing that matters. Well, at a certain point it doesn't matter that much, because you're just Republican light. No one is excited by you or interested in what you have to say because you are disdainful. There's no fucking reason why Bernie people should support Hillary based on her antagonism. It should be based on her trying to appeal to them. That is like politics 101. Keep doing it. Keep antagonizing Bernie supporters. See where that lands you. And then blame the Bernie supporters for it, because that seems to be all that's going on. Blaming the Bernie supporters over and over and over and over and over. You can't take responsibility for your own fucking actions. You know, I'm really sick of it. It's fucking pain in the ass. Regressive is just as bullshit as Bernie bros and vice versa. It's another fucking pejorative. It's another cuck. It's another social justice warrior. It's another white knight. Oh, God, I hate you people. I just mean internet people. Why are you so stupid? I'm sorry. Use your brain. Stop just name calling. Maybe this is why I've been away for a while. So now that all that unimportant bullshit is out of the way that I don't actually really care about, but, you know, that's all everyone goes on about online because they've just got the fucking attention span of gnats, I want to talk about the actual important things. Now, there are 3 things that are very important. Policies, issues, and ideas, which are the same things that I've just said slightly differently 3 times. That's what it's all about, man, because you got to have repetition and say it multiple times to make it important. So I found a good website. It's called presidentialcandidatesinsidegov.com, and you can compare candidates on the issues. So I wanted to compare Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. The first important field compares ideology. We can see here on individual rights, Bernie Sanders gets -10, and that is defined, the lower is defined as more liberal, and higher as more conservative. So Hillary is a 7 on individual rights. Bernie Sanders is a 10. So he's, 3 more liberal for whatever it's worth on individual rights. I'm not really sure how they measure that. I don't know. It could be to do with the gay marriage debate, whatever. Next one is domestic issues. Bernie Sanders is 1 point more liberal than Hillary Clinton. Economic issues. Curiously enough, Hillary Clinton is a lot more liberal on economic issues. Now, I'm not really sure what that means, but that's the way it's written. Now, this is the one that's really important, is defense issues. Bernie Sanders is a 10 for defense issues. I'm assuming that in this area that's defined as like he wants to get out of the wars, he wants to stop all the chaos and violence, he wants to not torture, he wants to get away from all that shit. He just wants to get the fuck out of all these conflicts. Hillary Clinton is a 2, which is terrible, because she does want to raise the military budget even more. I was going to say, like, build the military, but there's no need to build a military that's already built. She just wants to put more into that, get involved in more shit around the world. And I don't know, some people are for that. They're like, rah, 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 we got to stop all the Muslims, and we got to stop ISIS, and we've got to deal with this situation. And the way to do that is by getting up in everyone's business even more. You can't step back. You can never step back. You've just got to keep getting in there. You've got to do coups, and you've got to get involved. In my personal opinion, we have decades of evidence to show that that's a failed idea, and it doesn't work at all, so I'd far prefer Bernie Sanders. But if we look at the other comparison bars, there's not such a difference there that it's alarming. Her being more liberal on economic issues, I don't really know what that means. Bernie being more conservative on that, I don't really know what that means either. So we have to look into the details to unpack that. But you can definitely see that when it comes to military, it doesn't look good when it comes to Hillary. Unpacking individual rights. It says, on individual rights, Hillary Clinton is slightly more conservative than Bernie Sanders. Slightly is not that bad. Abortion is a woman's unrestricted right. Strongly agrees. Abortion strongly agrees. So they both agree on abortion. They agree on hiring women and minorities. They agree on same-sex marriage, although, as we know, Hillary Clinton changed her mind only like 3 years ago, which to me is slightly unbelievable. How the fuck did it take you till like 2013 or so to decide gay marriage was okay? That's fucked, in my opinion. But whatever, at least she's on the right side now.
You said something about homos in the military. You used the word homos in the military. You have insulted thousands of men and women who have put their lives on the line.
I'm talking about you and liberals like you that keep the foreign defense.
Gentlemen.
I believe that marriage is not just a bond, but a sacred bond between a man and a woman. I have had occasion in my life to defend marriage, to stand up for marriage, to believe in the hard work and challenge of marriage. So I take umbrage at anyone who might suggest that those of us who worry about amending the Constitution are less committed to the sanctity of marriage or to the fundamental bedrock principle that it exists between a man and a woman going back into the mists of history as one of the foundational institutions of history and humanity and civilization.
LGBT Americans are our colleagues, our teachers, our soldiers, our friends, our loved ones. And they are full and equal citizens and deserve the rights of citizenship. That includes marriage. That's why I support marriage for lesbian and gay couples.
Yes, my views did evolve, and I think most people my age would say the same thing. There might be some exceptions, but largely because of my strong opposition to discrimination of any sort and my personal relationships with a lot of people over the years, I certainly concluded that marriage equality should be the law of the land. And
keep God in the public sphere. It says that Bernie strongly disagrees. I totally agree with that. Why the fuck should God be in the public sphere? Hillary Clinton agrees with that, apparently, based on this. That's kind of fuck why. Why? It's against the Constitution. It's against, you know, what America stands for, separation of church and state. Why the fuck should God be in the public sphere? And people who are atheists, you should all totally agree with that. So you should agree with Bernie Sanders on that issue. EPA regulations are too restrictive. Strongly disagree. Yeah, okay, so they both agree on that. Make voter registration easier. So the only thing they really appear to disagree on is the God issue. And at the very least, it says that Hillary agrees to keep God in the public sphere, but she doesn't strongly agree. That's something. Domestic issues. Hillary Clinton is slightly more conservative than Bernie Sanders on domestic issues. Stricter punishment reduces crime. Strongly disagrees. I agree with Bernie Sanders there. I strongly disagree that stricter punishment reduces crime. Just look at Norway, look at Sweden, look at these countries that have a system that rehabilitates people, and look at their recidivism rate, and it goes to show you that the American system's fucked. It doesn't make sense. It needs fixing. And Hillary doesn't strongly disagree, but she disagrees, so that's good. Okay. Now, this is the one where Bernie Sanders, to me, seems a bit dodgy. Absolute right to gun ownership. He disagrees. Okay. Absolute right to gun ownership. Strongly disagrees. Maybe that's not the one I was thinking of. Hillary Clinton wants to prosecute and hold accountable gun manufacturers when their guns are used to kill people. Bernie Sanders doesn't. And he does often talk about the right to keep and bear arms based on him being from a rural state, which is Vermont, but different states needing different rules and regulations. And he's kind of wish-washy on the gun issue, so I would probably lean towards Hillary Clinton on that issue.
Everybody in this country should be responsible and accountable for their actions, and that includes gun manufacturers, gun sellers, and the NRA.
If they are selling a product to a person who buys it legally, what you're really talking about is ending gun manufacturing in America. I don't agree with that.
Bullshit.
There you go. I mean, I'm not much of a Bernie bro because I think that she's right on an issue. I don't think that she is, wrong about everything all the time. I just generally think Bernie's a better candidate. Is that so wrong? Is that so Bernie bro-ish? Expand Obamacare. Strongly agrees. Expand Obamacare. Strongly agrees. However, in her ads and in her smears, as I would characterize them, of Bernie Sanders, she's always saying he wants to scrap Obamacare, he wants to throw it away, and everyone knows Obamacare is perfect. No, what he wants to do is raise taxes with the intent of having universal health care. I can see nothing wrong with that. I know that Americans kind of flip out when it comes to change, but, it's time to catch up with the rest of the world, whereas Hillary Clinton seems much more pro in this piecemeal approach, which was the kind of approach Obama took in the first place anyways, because he didn't want to, rock the boat too much by introducing someone that would freak people out, and Obamacare freaked people out anyways, because you can't win. They're going to hate everything you do. So I think Bernie Sanders is right on healthcare. If he wants to scrap Obamacare to replace it with the universal healthcare, great. Why is that so scary, and what's so wrong about that? These Hillary supporters who are like, he wants to do away with what Obama wants to do. He doesn't want to support Obama. Like, so what? Since when did supporting Obama and doing what Obama wants to do become like some holy fucking creed from on high?
Haj Hussein's 17-year-old son Saddam was also killed in the same attack.
Sadness has engulfed our homes. My mother died of shock after my son was killed. My wife is also still depressed after the horrible attack.
There's no doubt that civilians were killed that shouldn't have been. I think that over the last several years, we have worked very hard to avoid and prevent those kinds of tragedies from taking place.
You have to support Obama. Well, I disagree with Obama on a lot of things. All of the drone strikes, continuing the war on drugs, his piecemeal approach to healthcare, which Hillary wants to continue. Why do you have to support these just for the sake of democratic unity and just to keep out Donald Trump's? Because people are willing to settle for second best. They're willing to be like, hey, let's have shitty policies because that's what the people in the establishment want. That's perpetuating the idea that the Democratic Party is just Republican light. And I think it's pathetic. I don't know why we shouldn't push forward with progressive policies, but people get cold feet and they're like, yeah, it's too scary to have universal health care. It's like, why is that a boogeyman? I don't get it. Vouchers for school choice, strongly disagree. Okay, they agree on that. Green energy, blah, blah, blah. Marijuana is a gateway drug, strongly disagrees. Marijuana is a gateway drug, disagrees. Well, at least it's disagrees and not agrees, because, that would be prohibitive for me. I could never support anyone who supported marijuana being a gateway drug, or who thought that marijuana was a gateway drug, or supported the war on drugs. And I'm pretty sure Bernie Sanders is more against the war on drugs than Hillary. She's had those super predator comments about black people. She seems a bit more hawkish both on the wars and on cracking down on crime by being overly harsh on people who are non-violent offenders. But it's a little disturbing that she only disagrees and doesn't strongly disagree marijuana is a gateway drug. That doesn't bode well. Because the war on drugs is an absolute fucking failure. It's disaster, and Obama has perpetuated that. And again, Hillary Clinton saying, I stand with Obama. It's a bad point. It's not a good point. And I don't care if she's a woman and he's an African American and Bernie's a white guy. It doesn't fucking matter. The war on drugs hasn't worked and Obamacare has been inadequate. So Bernie Sanders is doing better on domestic issues. That's for sure. Next on the list, when it comes to economic issues, Bernie Sanders is slightly more conservative than Hillary Clinton. Now, I didn't understand what this meant, so luckily they're unpacking it a bit. Stimulus better than market-led recovery. Agrees. I would have thought he would have strongly agreed on stimulus being better than market-led recovery, so that's surprising. Hillary Clinton strongly agrees. I don't know what these ratings are based on, but just on these ratings on this website, Hillary Clinton, yeah, that she's got a better view on that. I think stimulus has been proven again and again to be better than a market-led recovery. And it's absurd how libertarians and people who act like they have all the answers on the economy think that stimulus is ineffective just because they're ideologically opposed to it. They could never admit when something they don't like actually works. Without the economic stimulus that Obama passed, the economic situation would have been worse, and many criticized him for not making it big enough, and I agree with those people. Higher taxes on the wealthy, strongly agree. However, I have seen a breakdown of their tax policies, and Hillary Clinton's tax policy is much closer to Obama. It's very similar, so that doesn't really explain the nuances in their tax plans. Bernie Sanders is going to raise taxes for everybody, and the brackets are going to change for the upper echelons of wealth, and I think that's good. Why the fuck not? You know, those people already have fucking money. Why do they need their money so bad? So that they can, you know, that South Park episode where Lars Ulrich is sad because he can't buy the diamond-encrusted fucking dolphin.
Look, there's Lars now, sitting by his pool.
What's the matter with him?
This month he was hoping to have a gold-plated Shark Tank bar installed right next to the pool. But thanks to people downloading his music for free, he must now wait a few months before he can afford it.
What do they need all this fucking money for? Why don't they help other people? They're still going to be rich. They're not going to have all of their money taken away. They're just greedy cunts. And they just want money, and that's it. Fuck them. They can pay higher taxes. I have no empathy or sympathy for them. Pathway to citizenship for illegal aliens. Agrees. Strongly agrees. So Hillary Clinton is apparently stronger on immigration in that regard. Great. That's good. What do you know? You know, Hillary is better on some stuff than Bernie, based on these metrics. Privatized Social Security, they're both against that. Good. So far, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Knowing what I do know about the tax policies, I know that Bernie's tax policies to me make a lot more sense because he wants to implement universal health care, and I'm just so for that. And Hillary doesn't have the guts to do that. She just wants to stick with the status quo, and she wants to like tinker around the edges with Obamacare. She's not offering anything really new on that. But when it comes to guns, when it comes to apparently some elements of immigration, she's good. When it comes to privatizing Social Security, she's good on that too. Curiously enough, so is Donald Trump. I'm not comparing Hillary to Trump because Trump, Bernie, and Hillary all appear to agree on Social Security, which is curious, although Trump could change his mind because I don't trust that motherfucker. I don't really trust Hillary. Not because of, you know, the good policies that are written here, but because she's changed her mind a lot more throughout the years than Bernie Sanders. He hasn't really changed his positions very much. That's just a fact. In terms of defense and international issues, Hillary Clinton, now this is where it turns to shit for me, is far more conservative than Bernie Sanders. Support and expand free trade, Bernie strongly disagrees. Hillary disagrees. Expand the military, strongly disagrees. Support American exceptionalism, strongly disagrees. Now, this is where it turns to crap. Avoid foreign entanglements, strongly agrees. Hillary, avoid foreign entanglements, disagrees. She's militaristic, she's hawkish. She wants to get involved in the world's problems. She wants to get in there and get the America flag flying above every Middle Eastern country as some symbol of... Blah! I'm so fucking unpoetic. I can't think of shit. I feel like TJ Kirk. I just can't come up with a metaphor. But you know what I'm fucking saying, alright?
Hillary Clinton is a shape-shifting reptilian monster from another dimension. What I simply mean is that she is a cold, calculating monster who, centuries ago, put her true thoughts and feelings into a magic pirate chest with some ominous skull facade, which was then wrapped in chains, forged in the furnaces of hell by the souls of the overburdened damned, and then the chest was cast into the deepest, darkest recesses of the ocean, never to be found, never to be seen again by human fucking eye.
But anyways, that is quite a disqualifying factor to me. Because I think the world has had enough of America sticking its nose in everyone else's fucking business. But America never learns, and American people never learn. It just goes on and on and on forever. They never seem to learn that they can't fix these things just by getting in people's faces and getting involved in other people's affairs, as much as they would like to. It reminds me of like Christopher Hitchens and his cheerleading for the Iraq War, and then all of these fucking moral crusaders wringing their hands and saying, you would just have them be massacred and blah blah, and playing your emotions.
They don't know. They don't know what fascism feels like. They don't know what it's like to see families forced at gunpoint to applaud the torture and execution in public of their family members.
Saddam Hussein called a cabinet meeting where he ordered one half of his cabinet to shoot the other half so that they could all be complicit, the survivors, those who hadn't been tortured to death or otherwise murdered.
Motherfucker, look around the world. Look at Africa. Look everywhere. The world is fucked. People are dying all the fucking time. What gives you the right to just pick and choose what places you want to fix up based on whether they've done terrorism against you, you perceive them to be terrorists, or whether they're Muslims? The world is fucked. We don't need to just go into random countries. We need to fix the whole goddamn world. And that requires a massive overhaul of all of these systems, particularly economic and education. It's not going to involve you just gallivanting around the world doing whatever the fuck you want. So, you know, people like Christopher Hitchens playing their little emotional games like, oh, you're just fine with this happening to these people in Iraq. Well, there's a myriad of other countries, Mr. Hitchens, that have not been invaded. Why the fuck didn't they go to North Korea? I mean, you may have thought that was fine, but I didn't see you like out there every day saying we have to go to North Korea. No, it was all about Iraq because it was a fucking neocon dream to go there. But if we want to fix the fucking world, it's going to take a lot more than just randomly invading countries that have dictators, because there's many places to invade based on that. And sure, you can make a case for an individual country like Iraq, but you can't have that as a reasonable policy position, because it doesn't work in the aggregate. It's stupid. So Hillary, no Hillary, that's shit. I'm totally with Bernie when it comes to that. How much they've raised from super PACs and stuff. Bernie has raised none from super PACs. He's raised $185 million. Hillary's raised $186 million not from super PACs, and then $86 million from super PACs. We all know about super PACs, blah blah blah, getting money out of politics, make of that what you will, and how that affects things. She's raised $87 million more than Bernie Sanders, which is to be expected. I think some of these breakdowns are not too interesting until you get into the nitty-gritty of where the money's coming from. Bernie, large individual contributions, $65 million. Hillary, large individual contributions, $133 million. So that's quite a disparity there. Small individual contributions to Bernie, $116 million. $37 million for Hillary Clinton. So she's getting way more money from large individual contributions, and that implies that very rich people are giving her money, whereas Bernie's getting a lot more money from not very rich people. She self-finances a bit because she's got a fuckload of money. She's like $27 million personally, and Bernie's only got like $300,000. PAC contributions, $1 million. Bernie, 3,000. So it's ridiculous. Just the difference there in terms of where the money's coming from. Hillary is getting it from rich individuals and from PACs, and Bernie's just getting it from, you know, everyday people. Campaign committee donor breakdown. Small individual contributions for Bernie, 64%. Small contributions, 21%. So Hillary is getting way more large individual contributions, which is to be expected. Super PAC spending, it's funny. You look on the Bernie side, it's just like dash. There is no super PAC. On Hillary's side, Global Strategy Group LLC. Paul Begala, that guy. So I have to say, based on all of this, I mean, this is all quite vague. They don't tell you about the real nitty-gritty of the policies. But if I just saw this, I'd be like, well, I think Bernie is a better candidate in most areas. Hillary is also seen as untrustworthy, and there's lots of reasons for that, because she always seems to change her fucking mind, especially around campaign season, when she suddenly says, no, I didn't mean the stuff I said about black people being super predators, and supporting the crime bill that my husband put forth that put a fuckload of people in prison. maybe that was a bit of a mistake. But also, for some reason, Bernie doesn't really seem to appeal that much to minorities, and I find that very odd, because I think a lot of his policies would be better for minorities. I don't know if that sounds like patriarchal, like, oh, you just don't appreciate what Bernie's going to do for you, you unappreciative masses. You don't know. But that's the way it looks to me. I almost said could care less. I couldn't care less about Hillary being a woman, Bernie being a man, Obama being black, whatever. When we are dealing with this level of politics, identity politics is not sufficient for me. If you were to say that Obama does A, B, and C because he's black and we don't want that because we don't want black people or something, I'd say fuck you. If you said Hillary does A, B, and C because she's a woman and we don't want that, I'd be like, fuck off. If someone said Bernie does A, B, and C because he's Jewish, I'd be like, go to hell, shut the fuck up. I don't care about the identities of these people. I don't think it's important. Now, there was an element of Obama is the first African-American president, and that's pretty cool given the history. And that's fine, I don't have a problem with that. That's pretty awesome. I mean, I felt pretty proud for America that they had an African-American president. But would that be enough? Just if Obama came out and just said, oh, I'm African-American, vote me in? Fuck no. Otherwise we'd have President Herman Cain. Or we'd have President Ben Carson on the way. No. Herman Cain and Ben Carson were Muppets, the shitty candidates, bad ideas, pieces of crap. Being African-American has nothing to fucking do with it. Just like, what's that lady called? Carly Fiorina being female on the Republican side. Who gives a fuck? Corporatist, same hawkish bollocks, same tax cut bullshit, as other Republicans. And Hillary, being a Democrat and being female, so fucking what? And the only significance of Bernie being 74 is that he might die. And then whoever he has as vice president will be the new president. That's the only thing that matters about that, because besides that, who cares how fucking old he is? The Hillary Clinton supporters are playing a lot of identity politics, and yes, some of the people who hate Hillary on the Bernie side are doing the same. But Hillary did say, when asked what would stand out about her presidency, isn't it evident? Oh, look at me, I'm female,
Why should Democrats embrace an insider like yourself?
Well, I can't think of anything more of an outsider than electing the first woman president.
I could never picture Obama doing that. Well, look at me, I'm African American. He never said anything like that on the campaign trail. He'd be like, Bernie, look at me, I'm Jewish. Oh, look, I'm really old. Who cares, man? It's about the fucking policies. I'm tired of these Hillary supporters whinging that people are being sexist against Hillary who are not being sexist against her, when there are very real sexist attacks, and they tend to come from the people who we don't give a fuck about anyways because they're on Fox News, and they're total assholes, and they've always been sexist against Hillary Clinton. Is there some sexism on the left from the Bernie bros peoples? Absolutely yes. Unequivocally. But you know what? That is a function of them being dudes. It's not a function of them supporting Bernie Sanders. They could support the fucking Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Doesn't make a difference. There is a big chunk of dudes who are sexist, no matter who they support. And if you have lots of males supporting one candidate, like Bernie Sanders, a big chunk of them are going to be sexist. It's just the way it's going to be, and I bet some of them are probably racist. But the bottom line is it has nothing to do with Bernie. He doesn't condone it. He doesn't support it. There's nothing in his policies which is sexist. When he said that Hillary Clinton was not qualified, I can read you the actual quote here. And I think that in context, he is completely absolved of any claims of sexism. Now, just turn on your brain and listen to what he's actually saying in this quote. Because in my personal opinion, it has been incredibly mischaracterized by Clinton supporters. They have said that he said that she's not qualified to be president based on her credentials, which is absolutely not what he said. Just listen. I'm going to do my Bernie now. Now, the other day, I think Secretary Clinton appeared to be getting a little bit nervous, began Sanders at Philadelphia's Temple University. And she's been saying lately that she thinks I am, quote-unquote, not qualified to be president. And the crowd booed. Let me say in response to... This is the worst impersonation ever. Secretary Clinton, I don't believe she's qualified if she is through her super PAC, taking tens of millions of dollars in special interest funds, Sanders declared. So he said he doesn't believe she's qualified if she's taking tens of millions of dollars in special interest funds. He didn't talk about her resume, he didn't talk about anything that she's done in the past. He just said solely based on her taking money from the super PAC that should disqualify you. It had nothing to do with her credentials. He went on to list a number of traits disqualifying someone from being president, all directed squarely at Clinton, with the crowd cheering enthusiastically. I don't think you're qualified if you get $15 million from Wall Street through your super PAC, said Sanders. I don't think you're qualified if you have voted for the disastrous war in Iraq. I don't think you're qualified if you supported virtually every disastrous trade agreement, which has cost us millions of decent paying jobs. So there you go. That's it. He just said, I don't think you're qualified if you have really shitty policies. Which he should know is not true. Because it doesn't matter how shitty your policies are, you can be president. George Bush. Nixon. Lots of other people. You know. So he was wrong on the grounds that having fucking horrible policies does not disqualify you from being president. So on those grounds, I think he was wrong. But on the grounds that he was saying she's not qualified because of her vagina and because of her fucking because of the job she's had in her just CV. No, absolute bullshit. That's not what he said. So there you go. Bernie does not support or back these things up. If white males are gravitating to Bernie in, droves, it doesn't really have anything to do with his policies. I think maybe those people are doing it on identity politics as well. Maybe they're like, hey man, Bernie is a dude like me and he's white and yeah. And fuck that bitch Hillary or whatever. Those people are not thinking hard about what Bernie actually stands for and what his actual positions and views are. So it's impossible for me to blame Bernie Sanders for the existence of anybody like that. And it's a smear to call them Bernie bros because they are really not connected with Bernie in any particular way. So I've got a new idea. Hillary chicks. The next time somebody tells me that me criticizing Hillary is sexist, I'm going to be like, typical Hillary chicks. Hillary chicks are always saying that about people who disagree with them. Hillary chicks are always on the defensive. Hillary chicks are always calling people sexist who don't like Hillary Clinton. Typical Hillary chicks. That's what I'm going to do from now on. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. Do you know why? Because it's fucking stupid and it's based on identity politics. It's irrelevant and it's stupid. I'm not going to be calling people Hillary chicks. And call it with your fucking Bernie Bros shit. I'd prefer you called it what it actually was. Dudes being sexist. Dudes are sexist. They're sexist dudes. It's not a Bernie thing. It's not a Bernie bro thing. I didn't hear people coming up with something bros for other people like fucking John Boehner bros or GOP bros or whatever. There was Obama boys, which is stupid as well. But, the Hillary chicks came up with Obama bros. No. All of this shit is identity politics. Let's just look at what their policies are. Based on their policies, I agree with Bernie. I would say Bernie or bust. However, it looks like he's probably going to lose. I looked at some odds. He only had 4% odds of winning. I think it's unfortunate for America and the American people, and I think it's sad based solely on the policies, and I think America doesn't tend to vote in people who have their best interests at heart, or at least have the best policies for them. It's unfortunate. I think a lot of the electorate is uneducated, and I don't say that in an elitist way. It's just they don't follow it closely. And, more sad for them. Fine, we have a vaguely corporate, somewhat shitty, subpar candidate in Hillary Clinton. I don't care about her qualifications. It's her fucking policies. Her policies are shit. Most of the time. As you can see from that list I read, she's got some decent ones. Would she be better than Donald Trump? Yes, of course she would. But I mean, we've got to get past thinking that the most important thing about voting someone is that they beat a worse candidate, because it's really like low expectations. And I really wish that Bernie had been able to appeal to people more, because I think he would, as I said, be better for them. But people seem to enjoy just having subpar representatives. And they enjoy having subpar policies. I don't know why. It's sad to see. And I'm just thinking of the well-being of the very people who are voting these people in. They want Hillary, I guess. It's just depressing to see. Enjoy your kind of shitty candidate who's better than Trump. Yay!